The next compound element is called a repeating group. And a repeating group is a very powerful tool that allows you to search for repeating data where you may not know the number of repeating instances in advance. So we can have a table reoccur multiple times on a single page. You would put that table within a repeating group. There's a lot of use cases, explanation of benefits, high school and college transcripts, list classes per semester in a repeating manner, and it's not all tabular data, so you would use a repeating group to get at that data. There's a lot of uses for this in financial documents, bank statements. So there's a bit of a learning curve here to the repeating group, but it has some really powerful features, and once you get kind of familiar with the repeating group, you'll really appreciate its power. And one of its functions is it can look for you can set a maximum number of repetitions or iterations of the repeating group at the document level or on the page level. So if I say, if I've got a 20-page document, but I only want the first 3 iterations of the repeating group on each page, I can make that kind of a setting very simply with this repeating group dialog. Another compound element is called a first found group, and it's very well named because elements that you place within a first found group are searched for, but as soon as your criteria is matched, then the search stops. So I could use a first found group underneath a keyword, and my first found group could have 2 character string elements. The first character string element looks to the right of the keyword, the next one looks below the keyword, and it will first search to the right, and if it finds data that matches the character string's criteria, it's going to stop searching. And otherwise it will go to the next item in the first found group to see if it matches. And you can put static text elements, character strings, regions, labeled fields. You can use all of those items within a first found group. The next compound element, ironically, is probably the easiest element to get started with in Flexi Layout Studio, and it's called the labeled field. And it kind of combines a static text element with a character string element. And you're able to capture data rather quickly with a labeled field. So you specify on the label tab the actual label, whatever you're looking for. So if it's social security number : you'd put that in the label text. And then you specify a field position either to the right or to the left or below or to above the keyword, or rather the label. And then on the field tab, you can actually specify what kind of content you're looking for. And usually this will be left at any text, but you could specify under character string a regular expression to match or an alphabet to match. You can also try to match dates, matching certain criteria, currencies, etc. Very powerful tool. And again, on the field position, you specify your search area width and your search area height, and the gap is the distance between the label and the actual data. The next 2 compound elements are already formed. They're groups called the header group and the footer group. And whenever you create a brand new layout, it'll automatically create these 2 compound elements and place them at the top of the element tree. The program uses header and footer elements within the header and the footer to detect the beginning and the end of the document respectively. These items placed in the header and footer element need to be set from optional to required to be what we call identification elements. Finally, I'll describe an extremely powerful element. It is called the table element, and it is there to describe tables and to capture tables. It's neither a simple nor a compound element, and you can't convert it to another type of element, but you can specify columns. They're actually provided by a table block that you build in advance, and then you can specify table header settings, table footer settings, how table data should be divided into rows, and some other powerful settings.